Chapters 26 to 32 in Walk Two Moons by Sharon Creech. This is a very famous book, so I hope that you enjoyed today's chapters, okay? So, do you feel that somewhat like Sam, I mean not Sam, but Sal sometimes? Do you also feel like you want to throw your friend's body out of the room? And have you ever been like that? Have you ever been like Phoebe? And I also wanted to ask you something else. And it's about Pandora's box. How do you think that Phoebe's always acting around? And also, Phoebe, how is Phoebe acting? Do you like how she's acting? And also, who do you think is acting right, Phoebe or Ben? And also, what do you think about the Black Hills? And what did you think about Mount Rushmore? And why do you think that to Sal this wasn't very important? And would you think the same thing in your opinion? And I also want to actually go back a little, okay? And it was about Pandora's box. Do you think that Phoebe's version of Pandora's box, do you think that was true or not? And do you think that the Mount Rushmore, like, do you think that the president's faces, do you think they sort of ruin, ruin the whole thing, the whole mountaintop? And also, there was also this poem, right, about, it's called The Tide Rises, The Tide Falls. What did you think about this poem? Did you think it was creepy or not? Did you think it was like, did you think it was terrifying, like Phoebe and Sal? And do you think that Phoebe is right or not? Do you think that Phoebe actually is crazy about this? And how did you feel when Mr. Winterbottom began to cry? And also, I wanted to ask you about going into Mrs. Cadaver's house, right? Do you think that was a good idea? And did you think that was good of them or mean of them? And what did you think about Mrs. Partridge? Do you think that she was a little creepy? And what do you think about Mrs. Cadaver's house? Do you think that's creepy too? And also, Phoebe, there's a lot of things that reminds Phoebe of her mother, and then like Sal talks about how her mother haunts the house in Fairbanks, Kentucky. Why do you think this is true? And let's say that someone you love died, okay? Then when you looked at everything, would it remind you of that person? Excuse me. Oh yeah. And also, do you feel a little sorry for Phoebe and Sal? And then excuse me. Then there was another note, and it is, we never know the worth of water until the well is dry. Do you agree with that? And do you get what it means? And also, what do you think of Ben? And why do you think that someone wants to kiss Ben? And also, how do you think that the journals, and these journals sort of ruined it, right? And do you think that was good for Mr. Berkowitz to even start this business about it? And I will actually read some of the passages, okay? Okay, I think that Betty will go to hell because she always says the Lord's name in vain. She says God every 5 seconds. So excuse me, how do you think that, after this, the classroom will be a little, well, I'll say scissored apart, cut apart, because they were all mad at each other. And do you think that this was a good passage for Mr. Berkway to even choose? Because this was pretty bad. If you knew somebody and then you knew that somebody had written this about you, you would feel pretty bad, right? I'm gonna actually say some other passages, and then I just want you to, after I say them, I will pause for a bit, and then you can think about, and then always after the passage, then I want you to think about if this passage would make the class go apart even farther, okay? And then I will read all the passage mentioned in this chapter, okay? Okay, Linda is my best friend. Remember, all the names are like are switched, remember, okay? I tell her just about everything, and she tells me everything. Even things I do not want to know, like what she ate for breakfast and what her father wears to bed and how much her new sweater cost. Sometimes things like that are just not interesting. Okay, I'm going on to the next one, okay? I think Jeremiah is pig-headed. His skin is always pink and his hair is always clean and shiny, but he is really a jerk. Okay, what did you think about this all? What did you think about all this? And also, I wanted to ask you, when they went back to the police office, right? Sal looked at the picture and recognized the lunatic. So what do you think about this lunatic? Do you think he really is a lunatic? And who do you think he really is now? This is getting interesting. What do you think is do you think that, what is the possibilities of what's gonna happen? Do you think that maybe the lunatic, maybe Mrs. Winterbottom ran away with the lunatic? Or what do you think happened? Do you think the lunatic really captured Mrs. Winterbottom? What do you think about all this? This is really confusing, right? The mystery is getting more tangled and more exciting and more strange and more complicated, right? But anyway, Old Faithful. Have you ever seen Old Faithful? I was just curious about that. But anyway, do you think that Sal is doing a very good job of making people happy? But anyway, I also wanted to ask you, were you surprised when you found out that Mr. Berkway was Mrs. Partridge's son and Mrs. Cadaver? Well, of course we knew that Mrs. Cadaver was Mrs. Partridge's daughter, but that they were twins. Were you surprised about that? And what do you think of this now? And there's going to be some other passages that I'm going to read aloud, okay? And then I'm going to talk about them, okay? And then, well, I'll talk about them really. I just want you to think, like last time, what do you think of these, what do you think about these passages, and if they are scissoring and how they are affecting the class, okay? And also I wanted to ask you, what do you think about these passages anyway? Do you have any comments for the passages? Okay, I'm gonna read them, pause, and then read them, pause, okay? This is what I like about Jane. She is smart, but doesn't act like she knows everything. She is cute. She smells good. She is cute. She makes me laugh. She is cute. Okay. And then, also, now the next one, okay? And sometimes if you want, then you can, you can actually read the paragraphs between those, because that sort of mentions what it's about, right? About what it's about and how the class reacted. So this really helps, okay? Next one. Jane doesn't know the first thing about boys. She once asked me what kisses taste like, so you could tell she hadn't ever kissed anyone. I told her that they taste like chicken, and she believed me. She's so dumb sometimes. What do you think about this? And then the next one is this. I hate doing this. I hate to write. I hate to read. I hate journals. I especially hate English teachers where teachers only think about idiot symbols. I hate the idiot poem about the snowy woods, and I hate it when people say the woods symbolize death or beauty or sex or any old thing you want. I hate it. I hate that. Maybe the woods are just woods. Yeah, and I also wanted to ask you this. Well, it's about, about Sal's paragraph. Do you think that was right for Mr. Berkway to read that aloud? And then Phoebe's paragraph, that caused a lot of stirring, right? What do you think about this? Did you like this? And how do you think that Mr. Berkway felt about all this? And I also wanted to ask you, if you were Sal, then how would you feel about all this? Would you feel actually embarrassed, or how would you feel about this? But anyway, I wanted to ask you also, do you think that Sal will be able to get to Lewiston, Idaho in time? And do you think that the day matters on when they get there? Do you think that the only day that she can save her mother is on her birthday? What do you think about that? But anyway, I wanted to ask you about your favorite part, of course. What was your favorite part in these chapters? And then what was your favorite part in the whole book? What was your favorite character? And then your least favorite character so far? How do you like the book so far anyway? Do you think it deserves to be this famous? And finally, I wanted to ask you, what do you predict is going to happen next? Remember, the mystery is getting more tangled up. Sal's embarrassed. What do you think will happen next? And we find out about Mr. Berkway and Mrs. Cadaver being twins. But anyway, I hope that you had a great time with me discussing Walk Two Moons. This book is really good in my opinion, and I hope that you also really like this book. Okay, guys?